It's all good. We're just banging out. Maybe I'll adjust you live. They won't notice.
Right. Yeah.
Boom. By the way, we're live. Let me pull that out. There we go. Scene set up. Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing? Happy Saturday here. I was telling chat that you were late, but you're headed to the lab, and then I was like, I gotta let them know it's the literal laboratory, laboratory. Dexter, shout out to Dexter, because you're a friggin' scientist, neuroscientist. Like when some cats are like, yo, I'm in the lab trying to, you're literally in the lab. Like, he's literally in the lab cooking up props. So, everybody else is posers. But anyway, what up, Josh? Are we, you wearing all black. Did you have to go rob a bank after last night? Because last night was rough.
Man, so much pain. So yeah, I made like a little reflection video last night. We just didn't have time to get it out. But one thing I was talking about was like, sometimes you got to feel that pain in order to enjoy the wins. And yeah, no pain, no game, right? I mean, it happens.
Well, there was definitely pain and no gain last night. But nah, man, what happened? We had a blowout for our Spurs lines. We had a blowout for the Jazz lines. We had CJ McCollum stuck on 7 assists. It was just pretty rough. Hey, I got the Christian Wood double-double. But yeah, man, it just felt like, I don't know, Murphy's Law, right? Anything that could go. Trey Murphy's Law. There we go. We can keep it topical.
Yeah, I mean, it was like 4 games that had 20 to 30 point spreads, and some of those games were ones that we really were keen on, right? So that's never what you want.
What can you do?
Yeah,
but hey, there'll be nights like that. Mama said, Danny P, Conscious, Skimmer in the chat, Makwa, Mia Moore, 2 Danny P's technically in chat. Steve Leibowitz in chat. Is that it? Igor, what up, Igor? Gunn is looking like Josh. I don't think I look anything like Josh. Josh has a lot more hair than I do.
Wait, is he talking about Josh Engelman?
Yeah. Do I don't never ever heard that before. But shout out to Josh Engelman. He is a grinder. The open wheel kind of cool, better than NASCAR. Oh, for the F1 racing, yeah, we're talking F1 racing. Cats over dogs. Steve, I'm indifferent, right? I love the thought of dogs. But if you really think about it, dogs are way more high maintenance than cats are. Cats will go to the bathroom by themselves. They'll eat they'll clean themselves. Dogs, they have more love, and that's a plus. But you got to do all that other crap for them. So, I don't know. I'm on the fence. I guess if you had a yard, if I had like a big yard, I'd definitely be a dog person. And the cat I got, I love him, but he's a little brat. So, I don't know. What can you do? What up, Doug? What up, Carlos? Hopefully you guys are doing all right today. Anyway, basically 3 games on the docket tonight. I don't know if you got into any of the Bucks and T-Wolves stuff with Giannis being rolled out and Cat being downgraded to questionable, stuff like that.
Wow. So I saw the midday questionable tag on Cat. I didn't catch the Giannis news because I was probably driving.
Yeah, he got rolled out. So, like, if you ran to go get those Chris Middleton props or those Drew Holiday props, stuff like that. And I guess there's still time. There's still like 50 minutes on that. So, I mean, I guess we could include that in some of our analysis here. So let's do that. Hey, we got 4 games now. Shout out to Island Games. It's an island game.
What about for that game, what's Naz Reid's status?
Naz Reid. Let me pull up the injury.
If he's out too, then, I mean, what are they just going to play Vanderbilt at the 5? Or he's questionable as well, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of Q tags. So I think Reed is out. I think he will not play on. Oh, that's from
Oh
Wednesday.
wow.
No. That's an old tag. But I
Okay.
just basically got Cat out. I don't. I guess I can. Let me pull it up on this.
Because Nas Reed has not played the last 2 games. Vanderbilt, I believe, played the last game though.
Yeah, I think Reed is in. So Cat is questionable. McDaniel's out. Edwards questionable. Is all I got. I don't have anyone else, so I'm assuming everyone else is ready to go. So Nas Reed would play.
Okay.
Assuming that happens.
I mean, he's a serviceable backup. That's why I was wondering.
I mean, you're not. I mean, one, I doubt there's Nas Reed lines or that there were even would be some.
No.
So I don't know why we're talking about this.
Oh, no. I'm thinking more on the Minnesota side, like matchup wise.
Oh yeah. Okay, so I'll tell you what. For the sake of props though, let's pull up Milwaukee. Let's take off Giannis. Let's put Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton on. I assume we're going to be pretty interested in all things these two. Matter of fact, I think I do have projections for that game. I just have to add it or unlock it in the spreadsheet and see if we can't still get some value. So let's open up player props. I'll add the non-team stuff. And let me take off. Let me just put the non-teamers on for a second. So I had Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday at over 50 fantasy points. Remember how fast of a pace these T-Wolves have been playing. So fantasy score on Bucks, we've got Middleton at 42 fantasy points. We got Drew Holiday at 43 fantasy points. So I do have an aggressive projection that leans the over there, but they did adjust somewhat accordingly. If we look at the on-off court tool this season, or actually since the All-Star break, Middleton on the court without Giannis has been 1.6 fantasy points per minute. We want to dilute that a little bit. We'll just look at the body of work for the entire season, since it's essentially the same team through and through, outside of some Brook Lopez. Yeah, Mox says, no gun. I can't agree with the cat dog maintenance take, but we'll shelve that for now. What do you mean? If it's 3 a.m., and it's raining outside, it's cold, and I'm just sleeping, and my cat's got to go to the bathroom, well, that ain't my problem. You know what I mean? But if my dog's got to go, well, now I got to get out of bed. Now I got to go out. And it's different. But if you like own your land and have a fence and you just open the back door, it's a little bit different. When I live in Dallas, I literally never shut my back door. I had a sliding door. I just left it cracked so they can come in and out. So that made it a little less maintenance. But then you deal with track and mud and all that. But anyway, 107 fantasy points per minute on the season for Drew Holiday, 127 for Chris Middleton. So certainly, all things considered, with the Timberwolves running the pace that they run, this is a good spot to maybe target some very isolated usage and per minute production for the Bucks, with Chris Middleton kind of standing out as the guy I want more of. Middleton also has a 29% assist rate, Drew Holiday has a 29% assist rate, while Chris Middleton has a 22% assist rate. So a lot of interest in trying to find something on those two. Drew Holiday had an assist prop of 8.5.
It's up to 9 now. Wow, is that juiced?
So that's just like skyrocketing up and up and up.
That opened at 6.5 before the Giannis news. I saw that last night. It's usually maxed at 7 for him. That's juiced.
All right. Well, let's nothing stat news can handle. Drew Holiday. Let's go FTP by game log without Giannis Antetokounmpo last 10 games. Find someone that can type Giannis Antetokounmpo faster than me. Find somebody. Find somebody. That's my claim to fame. Assists 6-4, 12-7. Yeah, so it's been inconsistent, but I will say this game being this type of pace, it makes it a little bit more interesting. Maybe we're a little late to take advantage of this. How about some threes here? Middleton 2.5 threes, looking interesting.
Yeah, I was thinking more D'Angelo because of the Mavs or sorry, I'm looking at something real quick. The Bucks give up the most threes, right? So, and no Cat, more shot volume for him.
For the other side,
yeah.
Middleton and Russ?
No, I'm thinking of D'Lo's 3-point prop.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
because the Bucks give up the most threes of any team. So,
all right.
Minnesota does too. So I get it with that, with the Middleton. But would you agree that Middleton's fantasy is probably the most appealing at 42?
Yeah, let's flip this. So I did Drew Holiday's PrizePicks fantasy points per game the last 10 games without Giannis. He exceeded. I guess the line is what 42 right now. So he has exceeded 42 fantasy points in all but two of them, being the most recent one, which was against Portland, and then 33 occurred against Miami, a tougher defense in January of this year. So it's right on the edge on some of these, but I do dig that. And then equating that to Chris Middleton and shooting that out there, Middleton has been closer to 40 than 50, more than he hasn't, which is kind of intriguing. But what I was kind of wanting to build a case for Middleton threes here, but yeah, that's been up and down the water as well. So maybe the lines are just overcorrected now because of how quick the public went to go take advantage of that. But
I was even considering his free throw prop because the T-Wolves give up the most free throw attempts. But that's with Cat, I think, contributing a large portion of that, right? Because the last stat we looked up, he had a high foul rate, right?
mm-hmm.
I don't know with Naz Reid and Cat being off the court and other guys on, like if that changes the foul rate.
I think Naz Reid is still pretty high, but anyway.
But 5 is high because his season average is 4.5.
See, Bobby Porter's 35% 3-point percentage of shots from three in that split too. Yeah, all right. We don't have definitive Cat news yet, and you figure we would by now. So I don't know what to make of that. But yeah, if Cat were to be out, that definitely represents a ton of usage, and I would kind of lean towards wanting to justify some D-Russ, especially if that Edwards Q tag facilitated into an out, and we'd be looking at like Malik Beasley and D-Russ and stuff like that. But I didn't look at that game too much. So I don't have a big pulse on that. So I guess we can move on to the main slate now and look at the Hornets and the Mavericks. So I don't know if you caught it. I know you were literally driving to the laboratory. Do you say laboratory? Or is it laboratory?
No, I just lab.
Okay, well, it'd be a lot cooler if you'd called it a laboratory.
All right.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about the Mavericks and the Hornets here. Spencer Dinwiddie is out. It's night two of a back-to-back. And then at the tail end of the DFS stream, Reggie Bullock got ruled out. So that does kind of isolate maybe scoring opportunities. So it's more scoring potentially for Jalen Brunson, for Luka. I'm a sucker for Dwight Powell tonight. I got him for about 30 fantasy points on PrizePicks. You know, that was kind of my dude the other night against the Rockets. But Luka's projection shot up to over 70 fantasy points when I took out Reggie Bullock. And I doubt they have Luka listed at 70, so I would probably be pretty bullish on anything Luka. They have him at 56, so I got to go 14-point projection.
I love it. I love it. I mean, like we always say, when your models break like that for a guy, just lock it in. I mean, last time when I was doing my research, I was like, if Luka stays around 55 or between 55 and 57, I was like, I'm going to lock it in against this Hornets team. But Powell's interesting, right? So they have him at 22. What do you have him for?
I have him for 30.
Okay, I like it. What's your minute projection on him?
So
26?
I have him right now for 26. Last night he did play 30. And I believe, if I pull out this minute rotation, I believe he's hit 30 in like 3 of his last 4 or something like that. I know Marquise Chris has been added to the mix lately, but he didn't get a ton of minutes last night. Last night he got to 31 minutes, and they lost probably the final minute or two of the game. So that does bode well for maybe the hopes and expectations that he might be able to be out there. And then one of the things I was thinking, you've been watching the stream before you got on the stream. Remember I used to love Serge Ibaka in fast-paced matchups. Remember that? But that was only when I would play him. Dwight Powell might have that thing for me where if I could find this dude in a fast-paced matchup and kind of clamp onto him while other people may not, I like the thought of him being a little extra involved. And then today, it doesn't hurt that Spencer Dinwiddie and Reggie Bullock are out, and the fact that it's the Charlotte Hornets who very, very rarely are you going to have such a drastic difference in team metrics, where the Hornets are tied for the second fastest pace on the season, and the Dallas are the slowest pace. So extra implied possessions for Dallas, and pick up the pace a little bit. So I just got that feeling that Dwight Powell's probably going to be a solid play today. I like the over on fantasy points as well, so I'm going to add that to my short list here. Let's go Powell over FPS. And then now thinking about no Dinwiddie, no Reggie Bullock, Luka and Jalen Brunson seem like they could lead the team in shot attempts. And if I'm just going to throw a blanket over Luka fantasy points, I'm going to leave it at that. I don't need to bet over him to score 32 real points. But Jalen Brunson's listed at 17.5 real points. And this is something he cleared last night. He cleared in that Brooklyn game. He cleared in that Sacramento game. Boston, the number one defense on the planet right now, didn't hit that. And then the New York Knicks game was that lopsided blowout that was over. I do feel like Jalen Brunson real points at 17.5 is something that I'd be willing to lean the over on. What do you think about that?
Oh, yeah. No, I like it a lot. What can we look at his first half run lately?
Jalen Brunson?
Yeah.
Here we go. Oh, Tyler Hero alert. Let's go.
No. I'm just curious. I mean, it's so low. It means 8.5. I mean.
Yeah, 8.5. All right, so last night Brunson played 8 minutes in the first quarter. He got 7 points in the first quarter. Played almost a 7-minute stint. Got 8 points in that stint. That was 16 right there. You said the line's 8.5 for the first half.
Yeah.
And then no points in the final. Okay, and then against Brooklyn, that first quarter run, he got no points. Then he got 7 points in the first run, the second quarter, and then 3 points. So he would have hit the over there. That also was sharing the court with Spencer Dinwiddie. Then the Boston game is whatever, 5 in that first run. He's getting plenty of minutes in the first half. I'll say that. So it looks like
he cleared on that Boston game still though, barely, but he
7,
did.
13. It looks like he's getting like 15 minutes in the first half, and he has this weird thing where he rests the end of the first quarter. And then a little coffee break in the second quarter.
How much run does he get in the first half without Luka on the court?
Not a ton.
Not a ton. Okay.
A little bit. He gets the first half of the second quarter.
Okay.
Was that true yesterday? Yeah. So it does look like the first half of the second quarter is all Brunson, no Luka. At least recently.
That's what I was most curious about. Yeah.
Dallas game is. He didn't play that Dallas game, did he?
No.
And then the Knicks game, Jalen Brunson. Yeah, so that's the rotation. All of the first quarter will be with Luka, and then half of the second quarter is without Luka. But I mean, he's clearing points. Like Luka's feeding him.
Yeah.
All right, so and it's the Charlotte Hornets. I do think like the responsibility will be there all game, but I think you're pretty onto something. It's pretty sharp. So first half, let's see. NBA
consider both. I would consider both the first half and the full. I'm with you on the full game too. 17.5.
All right, 8.5. All right, I'll type that 17.5 or first half 8.5. I think that's sharp. The Mavericks are on night 2 of a back-to-back, and it could get weird, mama. Could get weird.
Yeah, I mean, Luka doesn't have any weird rotations on back-to-backs, right, lately?
No, and I think any of the constants that we might find certainly get different without Bullock and without Jalen Brunson, so it wouldn't be 1-to-1 anyway.
Yeah.
And right now I got like Josh Green probably.
Yeah.
Starting, and he's not much. Harmax, appreciate that sub. And if it wasn't, maybe we get more scoring off the bench for like Davis Bertans or something like that. But I don't know what to expect. But I like where we're at there. All right, Hornets side here. The Hornets are becoming one of the more predictably unpredictable teams to deal with day to day. I will say Coach made some really good points on the last stream, and I was leaning into the Mavericks being the toughest perimeter defense in basketball.
Yeah, sure.
Reggie Bullock does represent some of that defense. I think Dorian Finney-Smith's a lot of what they've been able to accomplish, but they just sometimes team defense just matters. So I'm just kind of on the fence about what to target. I think what I ended up thinking about is who might benefit about scoring in the paint, and I ended up leaning with like Miles Bridges and PJ Washington, but I don't know that I have enough conviction that I want to put it in like parlay style prop bets.
It's exactly what I was thinking last night during my research. Yep.
So, I mean, did you walk away? It's okay to not have a Hornets bet, but did you have anything from the Hornets?
I mean, since that's the problem with these small slates, right? Our options are limited, and we're gonna have to get uncomfortable at times. And yeah, Miles Bridges does have probably the best matchup in my opinion with his offensive threat, but we know how the Hornets are, like you said, unpredictable. One guy could go off and soak up all the usage, but yeah, if I had to pick someone, it would be Miles. What are you thinking for him? Are you thinking real points or fantasy PRA?
I've got him.
I was leaning PRA because he does turn the ball over. I mean, it's 29.5. Because Mavs, they do give up boards too, so he should get quite a few boards here in this matchup.
Yeah, so you're thinking PRA?
I mean, he's averaging. I mean, on this season, he's averaging 30.8 PRA. So it's below his average PRA.
I have him at 27 today. I'm not getting a great projection, but I think the model is like taking into account the defensive metrics for the Mavericks and stuff. So sure. I don't know what to expect. For me personally, I'm not going to end. I don't see myself getting to any convictions on these guys. I will say shout out to Jason Holland. He mentioned Mason Plumlee first half. And maybe that's something we can take advantage of, this interior defense being what it is. Plumlee, as Coach mentioned on the previous stream, he's got kind of like the Capella thing going on where he's so bad at free throws that he becomes a liability down the stretch. Yeah. But that's usually something that isn't palpable in game until the end. So maybe we can monitor his first half rotations. Last couple games against the Hawks in the first half, we saw him play 6, so about 12 minutes in the first half against the Hawks. Against the Hornets, we got him for, again, about 12 to 14 minutes. Pelicans, Plumlee got into foul trouble in that Pelicans game, so he lost that. So it looks like if he's not in foul trouble, maybe there's a case for him in the first half. 11.5 fantasy points, certainly really, really low, and he has hit that in every game except that Brooklyn game. And that, as of late, that Brooklyn game was, let's see what happened in that game. Oh, wait.
Was it foul trouble?
Let me go catch up.
You know, Luka, man, that dude gets to the line a lot.
He does. There it is, Brooklyn. Let's see. Montrezl Harrell, or not Montrezl, Mason Plumlee, he picked up no fouls on that first run, and then in the second quarter, 1 foul. No, he didn't. He wasn't necessarily in foul trouble in that game. He just didn't get a lot of first half run. But in that game, I don't know. It might have been Drummond bullying him, and Montrezl came out and picked up some steam. But I do think it's an interesting. Like I might add that to like the fringe list because it has been hitting decently.
And, we've talked about it in the past and we joked about it, and then it just like keeps hitting, right? Mm-hmm. He's a hard guy to trust because, any of those Hornets front court guys are, right?
PJ, McDaniels, Montrezl certainly gets a little thin. All right, so I mean, it's annoying because the Hornets have been kind of like, up until lately, I've been targeting Hornets a lot, but now I find myself being more on the other side of Hornets than on the Hornets side, which is not a bad thing. But yeah, they have a rather clean sheet when it comes to injury news and notes, and can't really take advantage of one guy to spike. Even with Gordon Hayward down, it's been kind of a small minute rotation. A couple guys at 33 like Miles Bridges, LaMelo, and Terry Rozier. And everybody else is kind of involved long enough, strong enough to be annoying. LaMelo Ball, I got him for 46 fantasy points. I'm always gonna have a good projection on LaMelo. I don't know. I think I'm willing to circle back later if I had to come back to the Hornets. But I do think there's some spots on the rest of the slate that I'm a little bit more privy to. But they had LaMelo at 39 fantasy points. So I I would have to lean the over based on my fantasy projection. They also have PJ Washington at 22, and I got him at 30. And it did talk about how the Mavericks, if they're going to continue this strong perimeter defense and maybe leave a couple more points in the paint, I know Washington's kind of like vulturing, or there's a vulture going on in that front court with McDaniels and Bridges stretching out, stuff like that. But maybe PJ Washington, who's going to take more shots inside the perimeter than outside the perimeter, even though
he takes threes though.
He does. I think the whole team does. Like the whole team is like top 4, top 5.
Sure.
But maybe PJ Washington over 22 fantasy points is something we throw in the mix. But none of this is like stuff that I want to sweat with high confidence. So
no, I mean it all makes sense, like theoretically, right? But realistically, it's scary.
Yeah.
Did you see all this new T-Wolves new?
Cat in, Vanderbilt in, Edwards in.
They're full strength. They're like, screw it, we're gonna take it to you.
All right. Well then, it's gonna be on Drew and Middleton to pick up the slack.
Yeah.
So I dig that. We'll see.
I could get on Middleton's fantasy score. I mean, both of them. I mean, they're gonna have to do everything.
All right. All right. Let's go to this Pistons and Cavs game. So. Just saying the words Pistons and Cavs, almost throw up a little more mouth. But I started talking about it a little bit more for DFS. I ended up talking myself into a lot of exposure into this game. And I'm curious to see if these prop lines will keep us interested as well. First of all, Cunningham probable, and so is Jeremy Grant. Those two guys missed that last outing, and that allowed Sadiq Bey to be one of the, I think he was like the 91st 50-point game this week. Like everyone's dropping 50, man. It used to mean something. Back in my day, it meant something, but right now it doesn't. But anyway, Cade Cunningham since the All-Star break has been good. I mean, good, near 30% or 30+% usage rate, incredible assist rate. So I'm a little bit curious about if you want to target any of these Pistons lines. 6 assists for Cade Cunningham is right on the low end of what he's offered us the last 4 outings. And on top of Cade Cunningham being back, I guess it should be noted that there could be Killian Hayes in the mix, Saban Lee, guys like that. But for the most part, this is Cade Cunningham's team, right? Top pick for a reason, and he's been flourishing. I got him projected for the most minutes on the team, easily the most fantasy points on the team. Is there a line that you want to get access to on Cade Cunningham? I would probably say the line that's most damning in terms of difference between mine and theirs is the fantasy score. Yeah. They got him at 36. My soft projections came out at 44, so that would be a 8 point, 9 point, 8 point difference. Maybe the fantasy points is that good. Throw a net over everything, and then he does average over a steal per game. Darius Garland and the Cavs turn the ball over the second most in the league. Would you get behind Cade Cunningham fantasy points over 36?
Yeah, that's probably my favorite because I mean he does fill the stat line. I mean he's gonna get rebounds. I mean he has triple double upside, right? And then he's getting stock. So I'm gonna lean fantasy with you on that. I mean. I've been playing him a lot before he went out with this illness, and he's just been really efficient lately offensively. My only concern, though, do we have any reports or anything about like this illness and coming back? Are they gonna like monitor his minutes or anything reported out of Detroit side?
I've got a full-on probable from non-COVID. It says Cade has been absent from Detroit's last 2 games, but it's looking like he's on track to play. Assuming he does, Killian Hayes, head contusion questionable, would likely move back to the bench, blah, 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 blah.
Killian left that last game against the Magic and never returned, so he might be out.
Yeah, and if that's the case, Frank Jackson, I think, is still out. So, we might get deeper minutes there. I don't see anything that suggests he would be limited. It was just
okay. No, that's good. I mean, so the other concern then is like he's been out for what, like 3 games now, 2 games. There's always rust, right? Concern when the guy comes back.
It's maybe
it's hard to predict.
Yeah, it's been 6 days for sure.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't be that concerned.
Yeah, I mean it's a great spot for him. The Cavs defense has really regressed. Would you agree over the last, I don't know, second half of the season or after All-Star break?
I guess we can quantify that statement before you got me. I think a lot of their defense was the fact they had 3 7-footers, so no Jared Allen as an interior defender, blocking some shots certainly doesn't help. On the season, they project top 4 still, but I guess we can go to the stat muse here and maybe bring it down. So let's go Cavaliers defensive rating since let's just say last 10 games. How about that? Last 10 games, 118.8 points per 100 possessions. So that would be like the worst in the league, which is probably not sustainable. We'll elongate that to 15, 117, and then 30 starts to go down. So yeah, their defense is definitely took a toll in the last 10, last 15. And you could point out a couple things, right? No Ricky Rubio. He was a scrappy defender. Yep. Jared Allen down for the count. So certainly not someone we could just blame on being a coincidence.
Yeah.
So yeah, Cade Cunningham's spot. I mean, all things equal though, it's still going to be a slow-paced game. The Pistons still have a low offensive efficiency, but I'm kind of digging Cade Cunningham here. Anything else on the Pistons side? Sadiq Bey's coming off a monster game. Yeah. Maybe he's overpriced based on short-term results. 50 real points might create some craziness, and then Jeremy Grant's in the mix, but still a front court with Marvin Bagley, Kelly Olynyk, Livers has been getting minutes through and through this lineup. Is it just Cade Cunningham if you have to, or is there anything else you want to get to on this Pistons side?
Yeah, we don't even have because he's gonna go back to the bench. I was gonna say we don't even have Bagley lines.
I'll say this. Maybe this will stir some thoughts. Shout out to James Corvino in chat. He tossed out Sadiq Bey rebounds. With that front court being a little bit more bolstered, certainly feels uncomfortable. 4.5 is kind of a low number. So
yeah, but I mean, you got a lot of guys who can get boards, like especially Cade, Grant, Stewart. I don't know.
All right, and then I'll tell you what, while we're here, if Killian Hayes got rolled out, could I talk you back into Corey Joseph PRA, 13.5 being the sweet spot? We did have that last second sweat where he hit like a random shot to get us on the over.
It was 1 second left. And no one was playing defense, and because they were down by like 4 points, the game was over. And he still goes to the basket, and Bam's like, "What are you doing?" He tries to just swat it away, and he gets goaltending. Bam gets goaltending, so it counts, and the clock it expires, and it's 0 seconds, and they count the 2 points, and it put him over the PRA by 0.5.
All right, let's move on to the other side of this game, the Cavaliers side. So, Rajon Rondo's doubtful. A couple point guard minutes to throw back into the blender, and Karis LeVert is going to play. So I guess there is the guard rotation there, LeVert and Garland. You know where I'm going with this. Darius Garland assists has been. His assist rate has been nutty, especially since we lost Rubio and Jetty Osman. If I move this to, let's say February, let's go February 1 on Darius Garland and just kind of not add anything to or take anything away from it and just show you the numbers. Darius Garland has had a 40% assist rate since February 1st. That's insane. And then nights like last night happened, and I know last night, it went to OT, but still, 14 assists. We've seen 13, 10, 19. I know some of these games are no Karis LeVert and so on and so forth, but his assist percentage is so gosh dang high that anytime Garland's on the slate, I do have to consider assists. He's at 9.5 right now. That is a tall glass of water to sip on, but it is something that we could definitely see come to fruition against this Pistons defense. We also have a 42 fantasy point score and a 37.5 PRA. We have discussed that Garland can turn the ball over, and a lot of times high assist rates and high assist numbers do correlate with high turnover numbers. So maybe we could flirt with the idea of PRA, but right now I got him for a lot of minutes. I got him for 38 minutes right now, giving me almost almost a 50 PrizePicks fantasy point projection, which would be an 8-point margin of difference between my projection and theirs. And then I don't know. I'm just gonna ask: do you want to get on any Garland props tonight? If so, which ones? Would you rather throw a blanket on fantasy score and hope that he doesn't turn the ball over more than he does? Or is the assist line something that you want to get behind with him having a 40% assist rate since February 1st?
Yeah, I definitely want to get on Garland. I mean, he's playing great basketball. I mean, I love watching him play too. His fantasy has been coming through, and his turnover is still there. I think last night he got it down to 4. It's usually 5 to 7. But I'm gonna get myself in some trouble today, I think.
Uh-oh.
All right, hear me out. Detroit is right behind the T-Wolves in free throws allowed. They foul at a very high rate. All of them. I mean, you watch any game, all of them are in foul trouble all the time.
Yeah.
Garland's been getting to the line a lot, and I think it's just because he's just been aggressive in driving. He's still at 4.5. I said last night in my research video, I said if it's less than 5, definitely on it. What do you think? I know it's never fun. It's never fun with free throw props.
Yeah, it's not fun. Let me see. Last night he had 5, but honestly, last night I just want to be honest. Did he hook it in like in extra? So let's see. Garland, overtime. No free throws. No free throws. All right, so he would have cleared it in regulation, barely. But I get what you're saying. Yeah, no, they definitely foul at a high clip. So I don't hate the thought of it. I don't have the warm and fuzzies. I hate the thought of it.
But if I had to rank order it, and if I'm gonna exposure wise, I'm gonna do fantasy so I can just get everything, his assist rate and his scoring, because he is scoring at a high rate still.
Yeah.
And then I would do free throws. If I just want to play him by himself, but if I wanted to pair him with someone like Mobley, or we should probably discuss Markkanen too.
Yeah, I did just want to mention it in case there's a thought. For the heck of it, I threw LeVert on the court with Garland since LeVert is back. That should be noted. That 40% goes to 30%, but 30% is still pretty high for assist rate, so it doesn't spook me too much. But yeah, let's.
It is 9.5 though today. I mean.
Yeah, it's up there for sure.
No, but I mean, yeah, it makes sense if you wanted to pair that with you can even pair like Markkanen's 15.5 point. This is a great matchup for him in the paint against the Pistons, and obviously Mobley too. And I really like Mobley's fantasy point.
Okay. Well. So looking at Mobley, I'll start with the fantasy points. I got him pushing gosh dang 48 fantasy points right now. Which is really aggressive. I do think that 10-point difference between my projection and theirs is something that I can feel a little bit better about. Because this is one of his first opportunities at not Jokic, at not Embiid in a couple of games, and even against Jokic last night, he was able to stay out of foul trouble. But without Jared Allen, the minutes have been so deep for Evan Mobley in that front court, and the peripherals are so high that I'm with you. I think a lot of it makes sense. The Pistons allow over 5 blocks per game. They don't turn the ball over a ton, but the blocks can be there. And then the rebound rate for the Pistons is below the Cavs average, and then their offensive rebound rate is pretty low as well. So plenty of opportunities for Evan Mobley to play above his median or his season-long expectations, and the PrizePicks lines reflect that, right? They got him at 10.5 rebounds, where his season average is 8.3, but it makes sense because with no Jared Allen, he's going to potentially have that many more minutes. So I'm with you on the fantasy score, and I do love the gap between mine and theirs. And then Lauri Markkanen had 30 points last night.
Yeah.
Lots of rebounds, lots of steals, the fakeness. He doesn't need to to repeat what he did last night, but he is listed at 27 fantasy points. I've got him at 36, so much like Mobley, I'm getting almost a 10.9 point difference. So I don't mind going to the well on Markkanen. The Philly game was a down game, and Miami's a tougher defense. So I'm gonna say confident, but I think Markkanen is live to be top 3 on the team in shot attempts, if not top 2. So there's a couple Markkanen props you can get behind. I think the 15.5 real points makes a lot of sense.
And his rebound.
Yeah, and the rebounds too. I'm skittish. It does make sense.
I mean, you haven't projected for 8.5. I mean, Detroit is still ranked dead last in rebound percentage as a team overall.
So here's what I would probably bring up. What scares us? What scared us the other day about Evan Mobley props? It was somebody starting, right?
Oh yeah, Kevin Love.
So we were worried. Oh man, if Kevin Love starts, Kevin Love can be a ridiculous rebound guy. Now, I don't think Kevin Love's going to start tonight, but I do want to mention Kevin Love played the entire fourth quarter last night and dipped into overtime. He closed over Lamar Stevens.
Okay.
And maybe
that's a great point. That's a really good point.
Yeah, but at the same time, Kevin Love could play 15 minutes and be a non-factor. But with Dean Wade out and Lamar Stevens was a guy that was super expendable last night, there's a world where Kevin Love gets a little bit more playing time, and his overlap with Markkanen and Mobley could pull away. So I just want to at least acknowledge that risk level out there. And as long as Kevin Love isn't in the starting lineup, I feel a little bit more confident about that, and maybe that would be something we look at first half props. But just trusting the projection needs to be something that I do. I didn't do it as much as I should have last night on a couple of the top end guys, but at least I don't know. I just wanted to let everyone know or remind everyone that last night Lamar Stevens did not touch the court after the fourth quarter, and Kevin Love played the entire fourth quarter and most of overtime. So could happen again tonight if it's competitive down the stretch.
So if we're going to build a card and we're going to include some of these Cavs guys, let's say we have like a Cade card. Obviously I wouldn't play 3 Cavs in that card. But I could see playing 2. How would you pair it? I mean, we probably don't want to pair Markkanen and Mobley together. I feel like there's some negative correlation there, especially if you're playing fantasy point for both. Mm-hmm. Would you just stick to like maybe a Garland assist or fantasy score with either Markkanen points or Mobley fantasy? Or how would you rank order those?
So, I mean, if we're in the interest of correlation, I guess Garland assists and Markkanen real points makes a lot of sense.
Sure.
I will say, using our friends at OddsJam, pulling up the some of the lines on today's game and trying to find out if we can get a lean on what's getting the most action. Darius Garland under 9.5 assists looks to be the juice today. So there's a lot of people leaning the under. Matter of fact, it's at some books it's as much as minus 140 on the under, where you're getting even to plus money on the over. So it looks like money is suggesting that the under makes more sense there. So I think I would take the fantasy points, and that's kind of the benefit that we have here is we can do that. Right. And then on the Lauri Markkanen points, we can double check where the juice is on that and see if we might be getting any value. So player points. By the way, if you guys haven't checked out this tool, I did a little video yesterday. Unfortunately, in the video yesterday, it was chaos. It was complete chaos. But this is an incredible tool, OddsJam, to kind of shop points and shop what different books are listing as at. So we're going to go over here and check the Lauri Markkanen real points and see what I guess where the juice is at on him in terms of over and under. So the line for them is 15.5. Looks like it's about even. There's about even vig on over and under, so it's got the field split. I think I'm leaning the over, just because I think his shot volume should continue to be there. So I kind of like that 15.5 over. The fact that he can get rebounds and from what we learned yesterday, steals. There's not a whole lot of difference between or not a giant jump, 12 points, 12 fantasy points to compensate for 15 if he gets you that 15. So maybe the fantasy points is wise there as well, and I'm getting almost a 9-point difference there. So I might just be slamming fantasy points here and hoping for the best. So
yeah, I'm leaning fantasy point the most for him, and then probably fantasy point for Mobley, and then we're gonna do real life points for Marketing, right?
Cavs fantasy points. So you want some fantasy points for Marketing and then some real points? Like you would take shots on either?
Yeah, it just depends on the card I'm building. I don't want to.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't want to bleed into Mobley's fantasy points with Marketing's fantasy point.
You think it's that negatively correlated?
I don't know. I mean, it's just peripherals that they could steal from each other, especially on the rebound side.
Okay. I still think it's pretty low for the minutes I got projected.
So you like Marketing's fantasy point better?
I mean, I'm just getting a pretty decent. So, I mean, if I'm just looking for margins of difference, right? I think I'm getting massive differences.
All right, well, let's
that. What do I got? I got him for 17 points, which is +2, but the fantasy being 37 to 20. I just have the bigger gap between the fantasy number and mine and theirs.
I mean, it's the Pistons. It makes sense. Let's just go fantasy point then for all of them.
Yeah, so I literally wrote Cavs fantasy points, all of them. All right. And then last game on the docket. Before you do that, chat, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up, man. We are about to get out of here. I'm about to get into the premium Discord at rundfs.com. You guys will be part of that. Go over there, check a VIP membership, grab a week pass, click VIP portal, get a link to the rundfs.com NBA VIP spreadsheet, and a link to the rundfs.com NBA VIP Discord, looking a little something like this. You click the NBA voice chat. We'll be in there. Might be a slow news day, kind of just March Madness, 3-game slate. It is what it is. But also, if you don't want to open up the old PayPal or wallets, we have a free Discord, the Gundacker Gaming Discord, and you guys are more than welcome to get into that completely free. There's a link in the description below. Shout out to all you guys that have recently joined: Jay Frey, Flo174, Akatori, MJ, Nurse Leo, Shauna, Bob with 4 B's, Spider-Man, big fan, and XX Game XX, man. You guys get in there. There's a free PrizePicks and props channel. You guys have been chopping up college basketball all day. Great resource. All we say is keep the vibes right? There's plenty of Discords and chats and forums and stuff like that where you guys can be toxic and say you're an idiot for betting this, blah, blah. That's not what we do. We want to see greatness. We want to see each other succeed. So bring the right vibes, and just know that's the speed limit here, man. We out here vibing, making it happen. So go join that Discord, completely free. And then we've been posting our prop detector a couple days a week in the YouTube member channel, and that is a way to reward some of you guys that did become channel members here. Main event tonight, Josh. It's the Lakers and the Wizards. Now, this game's going to coincide time-wise with the Cavs game. This whole slate's going to be done in a couple hours. Lakers last night were without THT and Carmelo. I speculated that might have some vaccination implications, but we got Wenyen Gabriel questionable. We got LeBron James questionable. He's always questionable. And then on the Wizards side, a Q tag on KCP. And it looks like Porzingis is going to play.
That's weird.
Yeah, and we kind of explored how that's a little different. It is a back-to-back for him. And this is a game that we saw happen a couple of games back, Lakers and the Wizards. That was a game where LeBron dropped 50 points. On the surface,
he went nuclear in that fourth quarter.
Yeah,
absolutely nuclear.
On the surface, this feels like a yucky game to target. It feels even more unpredictable this far out because we don't quite know what incarnation of the Lakers lineup we're going to get. Now, I will say the lineup that they threw out last time against the Wizards was the LeBron James at the 5 lineup. And last night, Dwight Howard played like 24-plus minutes. And we haven't really seen Dwight play a lot of back-to-backs. I think I logged 2 since December. And a lot of those are like 10 minutes one night, 11 minutes the next night. You know what I mean? So if I had to guess, I would probably say this is not a Dwight Howard start game. But was there anything sticking out to you? Because this seems really ugly, and we don't for sure know. The only thing is for sure is nothing's for sure.
Only thing's for sure is Westbrook's back, right?
Yes,
Hey,
Brody.
shout out to our stream yesterday, man. We said, all that heat he was getting from fans and players, he's due. Well, he looked like vintage Westbrook a little bit, just a little bit. I mean, he got his triple double, right?
Yeah,
Um, but he did play 41 minutes, and LeBron played 45 minutes.
yeah, overtime.
I don't know. There might be a chance he sits. I mean,
I don't disagree with that. I would hope we would know that by now, but I don't
yeah,
disagree that that could happen.
and Westbrook's returning to DC, right? I know there's not much,
Yeah.
much fuel or hatred
I'm coming
behind that
home.
narrative, but still, there's still motivation there. I mean, I like Westbrook in this matchup. I hope maybe that's all he needed to get some motivation under him and start getting back to form. So,
So, with all that said, it's from this far out. We got to play guess who, but there's only two props or two players on the board tonight from the Lakers. So I'm gonna have to
yeah,
exhaust too much time here drawing strings together. They got
sure.
LeBron.
But I mean, we can guess, though. We can guess.
Yeah.
Oh,
We
no.
also,
Oh, no,
we
never
also
mind.
have
They have Westbrook props. Yeah,
yeah.
16 and a half points. Yeah.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. They only have LeBron and Westbrook. At least
Yeah,
that's all
okay.
I see. They have LeBron at
Yeah.
30 and a half points, 50 fantasy points, and Westbrook at 16 and a half points, but that's it. So it's basically, what do you want on LeBron, if anything? I will say my projection on LeBron is like 10 points higher than theirs. I have him at 60, so I would kind of lean the over if I had to. And then Westbrook 16 and a half real points is a little too skittish for me. I like, if I'm going to take some Westbrook, I'm probably going to take a fantasy point shot or PRA.
Yeah.
But there's not much to love here, and then as unpredictable as the Lakers might be here, I really don't know what to expect from the Wizards either. Even though Porzingis, looked like he's going to be ready to go on a back-to-back, he hasn't cleared 30 minutes yet. He got really close in that Knicks game. He did have 5 fouls in the Knicks game. There was like a stint in the fourth quarter where if he had that, yeah, maybe that would have been that final 30-minute thing. But now we're dealing with the back-to-back and all that stuff. And much like the Lakers, we only have 3 guys to choose from on the Wizards side, and that's Corey Kispert, that's Kristaps Porzingis, and that's Kyle Kuzma. Kispert had over 20 real points in that most recent game against the Lakers. Our boy Arizona Drama in chat kind of threw out Kispert 3-pointers. I don't see that as an option right now. I just see Kispert points and PRA. And then Raul Neto doesn't have. I saw people on his assist prop yesterday. I don't even see that right now. So it's
They'll
not.
drop those later.
Yeah.
For sure.
So there's not much to get behind. The only thing I'd probably be looking at like maybe Kyle Kuzma real points. I did have the most recent game, which was 3 or 4 games back. In that game, Kispert dropped 21 real points, Kuzma 23, Porzingis 14 and 14, KCP just 4 points in that spot. I mean, those would be the at least the 2 guys I would look at. I think Kuzma real points is the only thing that really stands out, but this game might be a full fade for me.
Really?
I mean, do you have? I guess the LeBron fantasy points. If you knew for sure he was playing, I'm in on that.
Could you get down? All right, let's say LeBron is confirmed in. Could you get down with his 7.5 rebound? That's pretty low for him, especially if he's playing the center spot, like you predict.
I mean, he didn't get it last time against Porzingis, right? That was a game he'd had 50 real points, so he was very much so involved. I mean, he's failed at this more than he succeeded in the last 4 games. And yesterday, I guess let's go look at that. He didn't get it in overtime, did he? Let's see. Or LeBron James overtime. He picked up just no rebounds. So all of his he did clear it in regulation. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's true with Dwight. I guess maybe we'll run that. That's a good point. LeBron James rebounds by game log without Dwight Howard. Let's go last 10 games. 9, 7, 14, 10, 15. Yeah, okay. So 7.5 is live. It is unfortunate that the one game he didn't clear in the last since February 12th without Dwight Howard happened to be against the Wizards. But I'm with you. I get it. It makes sense.
And then I will really consider Westbrook's PRA.
What's the magic number?
Trying to remember what it usually is for him.
Magic.
I think it's been around, what was it, like 25 and a half, 26. Is that right? I think that's what it's been.
Yeah. All right. So I have. Let's see. I have Westbrook right now at 33 PRA. I don't think it's going to come in at 20. It'll probably be like 28, 29, right? Probably. I could probably just tell you what it is on Vegas. So
Yeah. Because they have that. Yeah.
Yeah, they do have that at OddsJam.com. If you guys want to check out OddsJam, use the link in chat. It's actually a good tool. I know like they're a sponsor, but this is literally a great tool. So I would recommend you guys look how easy it is to kind of. You can use this kind of predict line. So what we're gonna do right now with Lakers, we're gonna look at PRA, and then we'll bring up Westbrook. So looks like maybe there isn't PRA. Refresh. Renza says, I'll be in the building tonight. I hope LeBron. Oh, Renza going to see LeBron. Let's go, Renza.
I hope he plays for me.
Oh, dude, that would suck, right? Yo, tell Westbrook I say, he'll know. He'll know it was me. He'll know. So we're looking for Westbrook. Looks like they don't have a Westbrook line. Unless I'm absolutely blind. Westbrook. They don't have a Westbrook PRA line from the books yet. So
that's weird. Why are they holding back his stats? Are they worried about him playing?
No, I mean we got. I think the R part with Dwight Howard and Wenyen Gabriel questionable. Well, Wenyen Gabriel's questionable, and then Dwight Howard's.
They have all LeBron's props up, like every single one of them. It's weird.
It is weird. Beard is weird. All right, well, that's what we're dealing with. That is so. Anyway, let's recap. We'll do the end of show recap here. Some of you guys looking for that. We're taking notes. So here's what I've got jotted down from what we discussed. I got Luka fantasy points.
Yep.
I got Dwight Powell fantasy points. That's a Gundacker play.
I'll follow you on that one.
Okay. It was at 22. I got him at 30. We got Jalen Brunson over 17.5 or 8.5. He's been clearing 8.5 pretty consistently. And then got Cunningham over 36 fantasy points. And then the Cavs, big three, all fantasy points are live. Garland, Markkanen, and Mobley. Do you have anything that you have conviction that should be inserted there?
I mean, that's over, 5 picks right there. It is, right? Yeah, and I guess we have to wait and see on the Lakers props. That with that being the late game, they usually drop a lot of those props real.
So it's it's the same time as the Cavs game.
That's true. Yeah, it's that pending injury
news. Yeah, I think it's just news.
So once that news comes out, a lot of those things are going to open up. So I might get exposure to at least one in that game, because I mean it is only a 3-point spread, and it did open at 230 total, but it dropped since then to 227. It was a 1-point spread, but I guess it went up to 3 for the Wizards with Porzingis playing, because I think Vegas assumed he wasn't playing as well.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Josh, I'm gonna put you on the spot. Should we be looking for a first look tomorrow? If so, I will make sure that I'm around to make sure that it gets up. I feel bad. I feel like we should.
I should have told you I was doing it. I just assumed that.
Yeah, I should have known, but I was so tired.
Let me check the schedule. So
yeah, just let me know. But I know that there's plenty of games.
12:30 game, 2 12:30 games. Okay, so yeah, I mean, if you release it, if I get to you tonight and you release it early morning, it should give people enough time for those 2 early games, because they're at 3:30 Eastern. Mm-hmm. So yeah, so I'll try to go over all of the slate. We'll probably only have props for those first 2 games, but we can try to just talk about overall player targets for the rest if we're really keen on somebody.
Yeah, hey, maybe there might be more props, because a lot of these teams tomorrow don't play tonight. Most of the teams tonight are on back-to-back, so might get some lines.
That's true.
But yeah, all right. So we'll look at that, and then maybe if you do that, maybe I'll throw an odds stand video, and we'll get it all done. Chat, give me that thumbs up for the road, man. I appreciate you guys hanging out on a Saturday afternoon. I appreciate you, as always, making part of my day be part of your day. Tell somebody you love them because I love you like brother love, man. Good luck. God bless. Go win some money. All the money.
Good luck, everyone.